Payton is out there with Oladipo. And they've got Vucevic, the sweet-shooting 7-footer out of USC, in at the center. Then there's Tobias Harris. And it's Nicholson in at the 4 slot.
Boy, it was a tough year for the Magic last season. They found no salvation here in Orlando either. They were dreadful at home and had the fewest home court wins of any team in the league. Tough pill for the fans there to swallow.
Shumpert, no good. Cleveland on defense. Payton with the ball. Now guarded by Shumpert. Harris gets to Vucevic. Back to Harris. Target with his 3. And that home record of the Magic's that you mentioned, Clark. He has a highlight reel unto himself, guys.
Yeah,
wow.
That could very well be a contender for Dunk of the Year and perhaps might make its way all over the internet.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Clark. That's a crowd pleaser if I've ever seen one.
Payton kicks to Vucevic. Vucevic gets the screen from Payton. Lock at 6. Now here's Oladipo. And by Shumpert. Gets it to go. And about a minute gone here in the first quarter. Harris against LeBron. He gets the shot at the ball, and the defender wasn't set. He's called for the block and a 3-point play chance here.
And I'll say this about him, Kevin. I mean, it looks like he's made of rubber sometimes because defenders just bounce off him when he's driving the lane. What a finisher.
And here's another thing about him, Steve. Every time he gets his hands on the ball in the backcourt, he's a one-man fast break. Well, one of the struggles for a young team is figuring out how to win on the road. And winning on the road is not just execution, it's preparation and mindset. And young teams struggle to put that together, and the Cavs were certainly a team that struggled with that.
Now, here's Oladipo. Out to Harris. Just 5 on the clock. And that one's good. Harris has got his first points of the game. Little over a minute 30 into this first quarter. The Cavaliers have gone 2 or 3 here to start out the game. For the Cavaliers, being young was a big problem, and not having much luck with injuries was another. But, Steve, it can be tough to score points when you're on the road, and they struggle with that in a big way.
Well, they would end up in the bottom 5 in scoring last year while on the road, and that did them no favors. And defense, I mean, that was another issue. They couldn't stop anybody. So you combine bad offense, bad defense, going on the road, you're in some trouble.
Irving's shot is good.
He had a whole lot of space to get that shot off.
Yeah, I don't think the defender did a good job there of getting over the top of the screen.
And stolen by Kyrie Irving. Puts the lead pass in front of him. And Love throws it down.
Quick hands on the steal, quick feet on the break.
Costly mistake to fork that ball over and then not get back on deep.
And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first.
Well, for Kevin Love, guys, last season, in my mind, the most trying of his career. I mean, he broke his hand going into the season, came back, and then broke it again. He ended up playing only 18 games for the season and never really found the rhythm at all. I'm not sure that was the play they had set up, but it was too good a look to pass up.
1:15 left to play in the first quarter. Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Thank you, Kevin. The Magic head coach and I had a chance to talk just for a bit. He said that the key to the game will be how well they defend Kyrie Irving, adding, he's shown himself to be one of the premier point guards in the game already. Whether it's passing, shooting, or penetrating, we need our guys in the backcourt to really get them into him, and our bigs need to be ready to bring help. Guys, you can bet that Irving will be their focus defensively.
Thanks, Doris. A platoon swap here for Cleveland. The Magic trail by 3. And Kevin Love, known for his great dedication to training in the offseason. He actually broke his hand doing knuckle push-ups. I remember reading the story so clearly with that training staff.
Yeah, he was doing it with the staff at the time. And maybe they take those out of the regimen. I don't know. Come on.
And here's Irving after the three-pointer from Ben Gordon. Out to Shumpert. And he can't answer back. The three-pointer offline. Orlando's gone 2 or 3 from deep so far in this game. Thompson against Ridnour. On the wing, Gordon. Feeds to Fry. Passes it to Ridnour. Just 5 to shoot. Offline with his 3. Here's Thompson. LeBron left side. Love. Yes, and it's LeBron picking up the assist. That's now 8 points for Kevin Love.
You know, what an advantage he brings to this offense, guys. I mean, being able to drain the 3-ball, that really can spread a defense and extend the defense as well.
And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. Cavaliers lead by 3. And back in a moment as we'll get underway with quarter number 2. And off we go, a close game now starting the second quarter. And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach so far that we've seen for the Cavaliers?
And right from the start, guys, it's apparent they're determined to establish a presence in the paint.
They've been distributing the ball really well tonight, too. I mean, a decent number of assists so far for them. Well, with only 20 wins, the Magic had the worst record in the league and a good chance to get the #1 overall pick in the draft. Didn't work out that way. They got the #2 pick, which isn't a bad second place.
Fournier is checked in for Ben Gordon. The Cavaliers leading by 3. Well, Clark, as you said, for the Magic, they did miss out on that #1 spot, but in a draft where several players could have been considered, Steve, the top pick, they picked a good time to have their draft luck change.
Well, remember, this is a franchise that within their first 5 seasons had back-to-back #1 overall picks. One of those was Shaq, by the way, so they've had their luck. But I really like Oladipo. I think he's going to be a star in this league. I think Orlando has a building block for the future.
Here's Ridnour, following the basket by Kevin Love. Here's Harkless, and the bucket counts, and his eyes go to the free throw line. Trying to make it a 3-point play.
Well, I tell you what, that is a lot harder than it appears. You've got to get your body angle just right to shield you from the defense.
Well, I'm guessing we see him swipe a few passes today, because that's what he does. He's so quick to jump into the passing lanes.
That's exactly right. And he's a deceptive defender as well. He lays back and then his hands are on the ball when the passer didn't even realize he was there. Going into the season, the hopes were high for the Cavs this past year, but the injury bug really derailed it. Injuries to Irving, Thompson, Zeller, and the big one to Varejao really threw them off kilter in terms of having a decent season.
And the shot is good. Harkless has got 5 points now in the quarter. LeBron with it. Now guarded by O'Quinn. Love with the screen for Irving. Irving gets a screen from Love. LeBron passes to Smith. Smith missing again. And going back to the injuries for Cleveland last year, Clark was just talking about the Varejao injury was huge as he provided so much for them in the interior. And Irving was in and out of the lineup for a good part of the season. Steve, it was a disaster.
Man, he got fancy with that one, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe trying to give them the momentum boost they need to break this game open.
And I like that. I mean, some coaches might want to see just a sure-handed lay-in, but I say put as much as you can on the finish and get your teammates going.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Kevin, it certainly seemed the Magic were to be lost after Dwight Howard, but they have quickly turned things around. The development of their young players last year and nabbing the #2 overall pick in the draft helped speed that process. They took Victor Oladipo and now have a fantastic collection of young talent. We'll see how quickly they can get back to the postseason, guys.
Well, they didn't get it done last season, Doris, but they're hoping with the rehab roster, this will be the year.
Now you look at Irving and how much success he's had early in his NBA career. I think the only thing standing between him and true stardom right now is health. He's just had a lot of nagging injuries. He would love to put together an injury-free season.
Orlando with the ball. They trail by 6. Payton kicks to Harris. Harris gets the screen from Vucevic. Pass to Nicholson. Back to Harris. 6 on the shot clock. They grab through on this. Gets it to go. Nicholson's got his first points in this one.
There it is again. On a lot of their possessions this first half, they've established great position inside.
Yeah, getting the ball into the post should be their first option every time down. Force the defense to adapt and adjust.
And Orlando making a change here. Oladipo's checked in. And for Kyrie Irving, his first All-Star appearance last season, and just Clark his second year.
Well, you look at his age and what he's doing. Really a skilled scorer and playmaker already with size and athleticism. I like his savvy too, Kevin. He's very slick in how he gets around the basketball court. This kid has a chance to perhaps be an MVP caliber player in a few more years.
That's good from Harris.
Boy, one thing I would like about Tobias Harris, I mean, he can play two positions and he gives you mismatches either way. You know, at the 4 spot, he can pull other big men out on the perimeter and take advantage of his ball skills, shooting, and quickness. At the 3, he can play bully ball against smaller players. I think this young man's got a chance to be an outstanding combo forward in the league.
And the rejection by Brookins. And here's the fast break. Marion leading the way. It's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
The offense just getting right to the rim, but at least they saved the layup with the foul.
That's old school basketball rules. I mean, at the end of the day, no easy layup. Earn it from the line.
And the first one drops. Clark, you mentioned Harris's nice combination of size and skill, able to score inside and Steve outside.
Yeah, pretty good finisher, and you know, he can make a three-point shot. It's getting better. It's developing, but he got his chance to play after the trade to Orlando last year and made good use of that opportunity.
8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Payton dishes to Nicholson. Shot is off. The Magic trail by 3. Payton passes to Harris. Harris gets the screen from Payton. And it's Harris off the drive. Nicholson kicks to Harris. Second chance shot. Second quarter ends in a tight one. Cavaliers on top, up by 3. And we'll be back for the second.
Now, presented by Sprint.
It's time for the Sunday night halftime report. For the Cavaliers, a closely contested game against the Orlando Magic. Their great passing has been fun to watch, keeping the ball moving and picking apart that D. Kevin Love not having very much difficulty against Orlando. The bucket looks about 5 feet wide for him. He hasn't missed one shot. Can you believe it? And a scrappy effort by Orlando. Their bench making its presence felt, putting up big numbers coming in from the Pine. Victor Oladipo has been doing his thing. Nobody out there has been able to slow him down. Now let's head back out to the start of the second half. Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke, take it away.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game.
You know, there was a lot of talk about the Magic not getting equal value when they traded Dwight Howard to the Lakers before last season, but you take a look at how both teams started, the Lakers and the Magic, and for a time there, the Magic had a better record early in the season than the Lakers. So I think it worked out okay for the Magic.
Payton kicks to Oladipo. Back to Payton. The pass to Nicholson. Orlando shooting their third and fourth free throw attempts of the game.
And you look at the numbers from a year ago, guys, this is a club that hit about 75% of its free throw.
He's perfect from the line this time. Cavaliers leading. And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Hi, guys. Well, LeBron James' game is so well-rounded, you might forget that he led the league in scoring back in 2008. He said, I've done that before. I'm capable of doing it, but that's not my job here. My job is to do a lot of everything. Rebounding, passing, and defending. Guys, his versatility and completeness as a basketball player is what makes him so incredible to watch.
He can do it all, Doris. Pass, shoot, special talent. Well, Clark, like you said, hard to believe, but it's true. The Magic did have a better record than the Lakers for the early part of the season, but that was mostly due to a surprise down year from the Lakers, Steve, and a hot start for Orlando.
And remember, the Magic did get that big win at Staples against LA. That was kind of a revenge for the D. Howard trade. But as time wore on, you know, the Magic's lack of talent showed, and they really struggled the rest of the season.
Harris dishes to Payton. Harris passes to Payton. Kicks to Oladipo. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot two.
Victor Oladipo, a 6'5" shooting guard out of Indiana. You know, when you talk about athleticism, toughness, defense, grit, work ethic, those are the selling points. And I think he'll be a stingy defender from day one. And as he continues to improve his shooting, Oladipo has a chance to be a star.
Tristan Thompson is checked in for Cleveland. Miller comes in for Shumpert. And back to Oladipo. And Steve, you mentioned his shooting touch still a little inconsistent, but Clark, more of a slasher at the college level, but maybe could see an improved shot as he goes to the pros.
Well, he certainly has his fans among NBA GMs. The athleticism is there. The work ethic is there. I thought his shot improved dramatically during his college career, so this is a kid that I think is going to just continue to get better and better.
And Vucevic kicks to Oladipo. For the lead. And Thompson sends it back.
Changing sides didn't seem to help them at all, huh, guys? They've missed their first 3 shots in the third quarter.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Magic will take it.
Well, they couldn't hook up there on what's really a pretty basic pass.
Orlando making some changes. Channing Frye's checked in for Vucevic. And Ben Gordon is subbed in for Oladipo. Orlando, they've gone 0-3 and are still looking for that first bucket here in the second half. Gordon kicks to Frye. Back to Gordon. The dish to Nicholson. Releases. And it's Gordon missing.
Major defensive lapse right there. And he's not a player you can leave open for a jump shot. You got to stay attached to him. They're lucky he couldn't punish them for it.
Irving drives in. Gets it to go. Irving's got 10 points in the game.
I'll tell you what, the defenders didn't even get a sniff of him on that move to the hoop.
Payton against Irving. Harris up top. 1:30 left in the third quarter. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. He's got 10. Cavaliers trailing. Outside Irving. Thompson, a screen on Payton. Irving dishes to LeBron. Off the mark there with the three-point shot.
He got the shot he wanted off that pick, just couldn't get it to fall.
But Steve, they'll take that play all day long, 10 times out of 10. That was good action.
Back to Payton. He dishes it to Frye. 6 to shoot. Gordon. The feed to Harris. Jacks up a 3. Good. Harris has got 5 points now this quarter.
Now they're not showing too much respect for him defensively, are they?
Irving passes to Love. On the wing, Miller. A little under 2.5 minutes off the clock now here in the quarter. The Cavaliers again can't hit.
This game has been very close in a lot of areas, but rebounding is one thing that they've been able to dominate.
Yeah, they chase down that pumpkin often. I like the offensive awareness to exploit that lack of coverage on that play.
The Magic have gone 3 of 7 on field goal attempts here in the second half. Payton kicks to Harris. Back to Payton. He feeds it to Gordon. He's against Miller. Fades away. Here's Frye. Missed. And we just finished the third quarter as we've got a tight ball game here. Magic lead by 2. 2K Sports. Back in a moment from the Amway Center. And we're set to start the action up here in the fourth quarter. And if it's anything like the first three, we should be in for a treat. And some stats here, guys. The scoring breakdown for the Magic.
Well, anytime they've needed easy points, they've gotten themselves to the foul line. That's been key.
They've also been pounding it inside tonight and coming away with a lot of points in the paint. I call those PIPs.
And here is Irving. Irving gets a screen from Thompson. Shot off the pick. Dishes to Thompson. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play.
How about that play? Great body control. Still manages to finish the play despite the contact.
You know, when that whistle blows, you're not done. Get greedy and find a way to knock it down.
You know, coming into last season, Tristan Thompson watched a lot of tape. He noticed he was getting a shot blocked too often inside. So he reached out to Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who's on the Cleveland management team, for some help. And Big Z absolutely had an impact on Thompson's game with his advice.
And what's your take, guys, on the hustle steps for the Cavaliers?
Their defense has been outstanding, Kevin, closing out on shots, blocking a lot of them as well.
They've repeatedly gotten out on the break tonight as well and scored a lot of baskets in transition.
Ridnour kicks to O'Quinn. He passes to Ridnour. Dishes to O'Quinn. Tobias Harris is champion for Orlando. Here's Harris. Pass to Vucevic. He kicks it to Gordon. Harris outside. 4 on the clock. From the arc. That's good. And for Tristan Thompson, Steve, as you mentioned, more efficient last season. The clock kept his field goal percentage by about 5%.
Yeah, he did a nice job there, but he still had a few too many of his shots packed for me. And that means you've got to be able to get your shots off quicker and different. So that's what I think you've got to look at. Facing up more, going quicker to his move, and then, as I said earlier, developing a go-to move is something he's got to handle.
And the basket by Gordon.
He had his head on the swivel and was able to pick out the pass and get the assist.
LeBron drives in. That is good. LeBron's got 4 points this quarter.
That's the third bucket in a row from the paint. His defense needs to clog those lanes in the middle much more effectively.
Yeah, until they do, the problems inside are only going to get worse.
Miller outside from downtown. Good, and the assist goes to LeBron. LeBron's got 4 assists now tonight.
Looked like the defense was totally scattered on that fast break. Nice job taking advantage there with the wide open three.
Ridnour kicks to Oladipo. Fades back. And it hung on the rim, but wouldn't fall for him.
It just hasn't been a very good day for him, guys. They need him to start bearing some of those.
That's a blocking foul. And they'll shoot free throws.
Wow, this game is to command his performance. Third, 10 points, and also those active hands of his have led to a pair of steals.
Yeah, Clark, he's had a great presence defensively. He's thrown off their rhythm on several occasions.
That's the first. That gives them a 4-point cushion. Orlando making some changes. Andrew Nicholson comes in for Gordon. And it's Peyton in for Luke Ridnour. And so he drops them both. It's a 5-point game.
2-possession game now, so strategically everything changes a little bit. Those were very important foul shots.
And now Doris Burke has an update from the sideline.
Well, over that break, I listened in on what head coach for the Magic was getting across in the huddle. He laid out the X's and O's and told them, we're still alive, guys. We've just got to work together, trust each other, and play our backsides off. Kevin, we'll see if they've got enough in the tank to get over the top.
Oladipo. And he's good on the 3-ball.
With the success they've been having from the three-point line since halftime, I bet you that scoreboard starts to look a lot different real soon.
Of course, they have to stay hot, but if they do, I think you're right, Clark, particularly if they can convert defense into offense.
LeBron outside. The 19-foot shot. Miller kicks to Irving.
pressure basket right there.
Now that's coming through in the clutch.
Payton kicks to Harris. Back to Payton. 41 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Can't get it to go. Some solid defense there from Irving. And that's an intentional foul. So the first one drops, and that puts them up by 5. A different look now for Cleveland. Sean Marion, he's checked in for Tristan Thompson. And J.R. Smith's subbed in for Mike Miller. And so both free throws are good. And it's a 6-point ball game.
And as long as they continue to do this kind of work at the foul line, the lead should be safe.
Fires the 3. Oladipo misses. Brown. Watching the line there. That'll be a backcourt violation. And a little over 3.5 minutes in the books so far here in the fourth. And now we've got the intentional foul. He drops the first one, and that makes it a 7-point lead for the Magic. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's an 8-point game. Time calls here. The Magic decide to talk it over. They're losing by 8. There's 18 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Guys, what's your take?
Well, they can call timeouts all they want, but it's not going to do a whole lot of good at this point.
Yeah, this one's about done. The writing's on the wall. There's nothing they can do to change this one.
There's 18 seconds left in the fourth quarter. They get it again, and the officials call goaltending, so they'll award the basket.
You got to put bodies on the glass right there. They just are not getting it done on the boards.
Yeah, they've got to do a much better job of going harder than that to the glass.
Now Love, and they go to the intentional foul. And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss. He's able to hit the second one, and that makes it a 7-point lead. Payton with the ball. Feeds it to Oladipo. Here's the 3. Here's the 3. Here's Irving. And now an intentional foul. They need the ball back as soon as possible.
Yeah, no question, the right call at this point. You can't let them just dribble it out.
That's right. I mean, you got to send them to the line and hope for a few misses.
He hits the first one, and that puts them up by 5. And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 6-point ball game.
No mistakes there. I think you can close the book on this one, guys. It's done.
We see the Cavaliers get the win here. They came, they saw, they conquered.
Hey, Kevin, to me, any win is a good win.
Thank you for joining us.